Welcome to the Taproom Exclusive. I'm Dean Zarbaugh. I'm here at Masthead Brewing Company. I'm with Mike Pelechaty, brewer of these great beers. Thank you for being here, Mike.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you for letting me come out and try some stuff and talk about the beer. You guys just celebrated your 2-year anniversary this past weekend as of this recording. Congratulations on that, by the way.
Hey, thanks so much. It was a blast.
I was talking to was it Nick?
Yeah, Nick.
I'm bad with names, especially when I first meet people. I was talking with Nick, and he said there were people lining up at like 6:45.
Yeah, and I think part of it was motivated by the bar seats, actually,
Really?
as opposed to the release itself, because the bar seats are worth their weight in gold.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I've been out to a couple releases, just normal Saturday, the New England releases, and it's a madhouse out here, and it's awesome, but it's never too much. That's what is awesome.
Yeah, we try to keep the lines moving, and we try to make sure that people can get draft pours in spite of the lines for cans, maybe, and move people through reasonably quickly. It was pretty cold on Saturday, so we actually opened the doors a little early, made up sort of frittata type deal for everybody.
Oh, nice.
Fed everybody a little bit, got some coffee going, just
there you go.
Make sure people weren't getting hypothermia out there.
Right, yeah, that's not a good look. So you guys just started canning for the first time a new seasonal. It's a Jalapeno IPA.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, so it was inspired, actually, by a trip in 2011 down to Asheville, North Carolina. There's a place called Asheville Pizza and Brewing. It's kind of one of the OG breweries down there. Blast to go to. Pizza's super good. Beer's super good. It's a little grungy, but I like it.
Yeah.
And they have a beer called Fire Escape that's like a 5.5% pale ale with roasted jalapenos in it. Ooh. And totally fell in love with that beer then. And we couldn't find anything similar up in Ohio, so took us until we opened this place, and we brewed it in 2017 a couple times, but it was just draft only for the tap room. So then, fast forward to now, we figured this sort of winter season that there isn't really a dedicated style for after Christmas beers.
Right.
Was a good time to release it. I mean, you get a little bit of warmth from the jalapeno. It's kind of a unique style, and it just fits right in.
Now, people hear Jalapeno IPA. I sell beer for a living at a store, so I hear I point out to a Jalapeno IPA, and at first it might turn somebody who isn't used to that off. But I always tell people to not knock it drink it before you think it, because if you think about it, it's not what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, jalapenos aren't that hot of a pepper,
right?
On the scale of peppers, it's like.
It's on the lower end.
Yeah, I mean, they're not your, relative to hops, they're not your super high-end, high-alpha, burn-your-palate-out hops.
Right.
They're right in that mid-range that has a ton of flavor and a little bit of heat. And we do all the peppering on the cold side.
Okay.
So you're not extracting as much capsaicin, but you do get, like, really, really good pepper character.
Yeah.
And it's almost the way we dry hop. We use those.
Okay.
So, we're pretty conscious of, and I know some people want more heat, but I think we're conscious of making something that's going to appeal to a broader range of palates.
Yeah, you have to strike a balance in something like that. I'm not normally, I like some spicy foods, but it's not something I always seek out. But it's something interesting. I always like to try something new. And my dad and I came here probably 2 years. It must have been maybe a couple months after you opened, and you had maybe your first or second batch on, and he fell in love with that thing. And he, to this day, like, he goes to other breweries and he's like, do you do a Jalapeno IPA? Masthead does a Jalapeno IPA. And, like, to the brewer's face, it's just like, why don't you do this? It's a really cool style. So you got him hooked. He's happy. He's happy he
awesome.
can get this available on the shelves now. And but it's that nice balance of, it doesn't really strike your tongue with the heat. It gives you that, like, a smoky coating on the throat, but you get that flavor of the jalapeno without it destroying anything.
Yeah, and I think the pepper character really blends well with some of the fruitier American hops we're brewing with as well. So kind of fits pretty well in that style.
It's a really nice idea, and you guys do pizza here as well. If you wanted to eat something with the Jalapeno IPA, What are you thinking if you're going to go for some food?
So I think we have two pizzas that work really well with it, and we have a Hawaiian pizza, and that has a jalapeno mango pineapple salsa on it, as well as rosemary's ham. So that pizza goes really well with it, and that pizza's not super spicy, but has just enough of that sort of salsa pepper character. And then we also have a fajita pizza with green tomatillo sauce. So both of those pair pretty dang well with that beer.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. You guys, I always tell people, if you like their beer, definitely come down here for the food too, because you guys do a really great job on both sides.
Yeah, the food, opening up the food was something really important to us. Because it complements the experience so well, it becomes so important. And I'm a little bit of a pizza snob, so I want, if we're going to serve pizza, it needed to be up to standards.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of my favorite foods, and you tell me a brewery has beer and pizza, I'm sold. So that's awesome. So going back to the Jalapeno IPA. How what's the ABV on that?
It's 6.8.
6.8. That's what I thought. And so it's not super high. It's not low. It's got just the right amount of ABV in there.
Yeah, I think in general with our mainstay, just IPAs, not doubles. I don't want to be on the top end of the alcohol of the style, because I think I want to accentuate the hop flavor a little bit more, and also leave some room to drink more than one or two.
Yeah.
I'm a big sessionable beer guy myself, so it's kind of motivated from that direction.
I like having something that's, like you said, that I can have maybe one or two and not feel like I'm losing my head. I don't need, if I want a double IPA, I'm going to go to a double IPA.
Right.
If I want an IPA, I want something that between 6 and 7%. That's going to be just enough. And with this, it's the hops do a really good job of blending with that jalapeno. It's got that nice hoppiness in the front, and then finishes with that smokiness, and it's just a very well balanced beer.
Oh, thanks, I appreciate it.
And then I noticed on this list you have a jalapeno haze too. So what's that?
Yeah, so we basically brewed a New England IPA, and then did the same process for jalapeñoing it. So there's some contrast, at least in our draft menu. We thought that would be interesting to sort of see how the two styles compare to each other.
Yeah. How with that haze? How does that affect the profile at all?
The jalapeno comes through similarly, but I think it's just a little bit fruitier on the hop side of it. Okay. And it's almost, to me, the bitterness of a American IPA or West Coast IPA balances the jalapenos a little better, really. Whereas the New England's drink a little bit sweeter, so it's almost like a mango salsa type deal going on. Which is pretty unique. Yeah,
I agree. 100% with just the regular jalapeno IPA. You do that. The hot bite on the finish just really helps.
It almost through that. Yeah, it almost freshens your palate up at the end. And the jalapeno haze just kind of has a different take with the sort of the sweetness, and kind of is more like a pineapple or a mango salsa.
Just fun to experiment with stuff. That's what I like about you guys too. Is you guys aren't afraid to kind of just play with stuff. And that's what this is all about at the end of the day, is seeing what works.
Yeah, that's definitely the benefit of having a tap room, like a larger tap room like we do, is we can do some one-off unique experimental stuff, and we know we're going to sell it. And we like to blast some kegs out to a few different of our accounts that are some good partners for us.
So Masthead, this place is huge. You walk into this place, it's massive. It's like 16,000 square feet, something like that.
Yeah, that's the total under roof. The tap room's probably 3,500 square feet or 4,000.
I mean, it's a really nice, spacious. This used to be an automotive dealership, right?
Yeah, that's what it started out as in 1926.
That's awesome. There's a lot of history in this building. It's actually a historic building. It's a designated historic.
Yeah, place. It's designated as a historic facade by the landmarks department.
Nice. And so the name Masthead, I was reading up. I actually didn't know about this. Is you named yourself after a newspaper? Tell the story. You can tell it a lot better than I can.
Yeah. So the idea is that in 1796, Moses Cleveland, who was a veteran general of the Revolutionary War, was a part of the project to sort of survey land and figure out where to put cities on what was then like the western fringes of the United States. So he landed on the banks of the Cuyahoga and surveyed the land, decided this would be a good place for a city. So he named it after himself because he's, sort of a vain guy.
Yeah.
So he named it Cleveland.
It happens.
The interesting thing was that he actually spelled his name differently than Cleveland is spelled today. There's an extra A in there, like a butcher's cleaver. And so it went on, and it was a village. It had grown to about 1,000 people by 1831. And that sort of left room where the second newspaper was getting ready to start up in the city, called the Cleveland Advertiser, which is a bit of a long name. And I assume they went, got all their, like any business does, you get all your printing presses, you get all your fonts, all your different materials it takes to go to print. Right. And when they were ready to go to print, they realized that the name, the Cleveland Advertiser, was too long to fit on the masthead of their paper with their fonts. So I assume they were kind of sitting around a table like we are, probably drinking a few more beers than we are right now. And they came to the only conclusion that they had to pull a letter out of the name and effectively change the name of a city.
So rather than change the name of the newspaper, they changed the whole name of the city, basically.
Yeah.
That's a really I didn't know how that ended up sticking and then I was reading up on you guys, and I'm like, that's just 1831. There's okay, I guess we're calling it Cleveland now.
Yeah.
That's a really funny.
Yeah, it's super
really
bold
funny story
and really unique. I don't know that any other city has such a story.
It seems like Cleveland's got a lot of stories.
It really does.
And you went to OSU. You're wearing an OSU shirt.
Yes.
You graduated as you did electrical engineering, right?
Yep.
And so what you kind of started homebrewing out back in college?
Yeah, so I started homebrewing in 2011, basically.
Okay. What made you make the jump from homebrewing to doing this professionally?
Yeah, it's kind of like it has something to do with just like homebrewing kind of sucks, and I figured if I'm going to go through all this effort to make 5 gallons of beer, I might as well make 10 or 20 barrels of beer.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
It was almost like a motivation from laziness. But,
yeah.
Truthfully, I was passionate about the process, and I think it has the right amount of engineering, the right amount of manual labor, the right amount of sort of creativity, all packaged into one thing. So I was really drawn to it that time, and I decided to not take an engineering job and pursue a career over in the brewing industry.
That's really cool, and thankfully you did, man. You guys have built up a really, really awesome brewery. And what was it that made you decide on Cleveland overall? Because you could have gone to Columbus, you could have gone
right. So
basically anywhere.
At the time, I had a job at a small brewery called Black Box Brewery.
Okay.
Black Box Brewing Co. Yeah, it was in
Westlake?
They're now defunct. But I was already up here. I worked for them for 3 years.
Okay.
So it was kind of convenient that I wouldn't have to quit my job to go look for space and to do all the kind of pre-work that it takes to get a brewery open.
Yeah.
And I was already familiar with the city, so
that helps.
When my business partner was sort of ready to come on board, it made sense for him to quit his job and move to Cleveland as opposed to both of us moving to a new place.
Yeah,
and I think the brewing community up here is really a hotbed.
It is,
and I think Cleveland's definitely leading the state at the forefront of brewing.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. It's such a wealth of breweries just here in Northeast Ohio and in Cleveland all together. It's amazing to see, and the best part is everybody's just kind of in it together. We're all happy to support each other and watch each other grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And
this is a really good spot you guys have carved out for yourself downtown. You can walk here if you're in downtown. There's tons of stuff to do around here. You guys have picked out a great spot, and it's really working out well for you guys. And I'm glad to see the growth you guys have had in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool now with us and Noble Beast and Hofbräu House all being on this side of downtown. Even Butcher and the Brewer isn't too far,
right? Where
we kind of have a little brewery district forming down here. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, I always tell people, if you come down to one, try all of them. You can get to them pretty easy. And anything I might have not touched on as far as the Jalapeno IPA goes that you wanted to get out to the people before we cut and come to next week's episode?
No, I think that we mostly covered everything. I think the only other kind of piece is that this is sort of a late winter seasonal, so we should be running this from now or beginning of January through roughly the beginning of March.
Okay.
You should be able to find it on your store shelves and Giant Eagle and
anywhere that
local bottle shop
carries Masthead. And if you have any questions, if you don't see it on the shelf, ask for it, because this is something you guys need to try.
I think it's in all the Heinens, so
yep,
that's definitely
that is where I picked it up. So definitely there. And thank you, Mike, for taking the time. Tune in next week as we cover another beer here at Masthead.